Hello and welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. My name is Cecilia, and on behalf of OTC Markets, we're very pleased you've joined us for our next live presentation from AbraSilver Resource. Please note you can submit questions for the presenter in the box to the left of the slides. You can also view a company's availability for one-on-one meetings through the Schedule Meetings tab found on the conference platform. At this point, I'm very pleased to welcome John Miniotis, President and Chief Executive Officer of AbraSilver Resource Corp, which trades on the OTCQX Best Market under the symbol ABBRF and on the TSXV under the symbol ABRA. Welcome back, John.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. It's really a great pleasure to be here today, and thank you all for joining me on the call. As many of you may know, AbraSilver has really made significant strides over the past few years now, and I think our team continues to make excellent progress here. So I truly feel the company is very, very well positioned at the moment. And with that being said, really happy to dive in here, walk you through our story, and at the end of the presentation, I'll make sure to leave some time open for Q&A. Please note, of course, there'll be forward-looking statements made as part of the presentation here. So AbraSilver, we have our key asset called Diablillos. This is an advanced stage silver and gold project. This is a project that's been around for quite some time. Myself, the current management team, have been running the company here since beginning of 2020. And since then, I'm very proud to say we've been able to double the size of the resource. And so we've expanded this project very significantly over the last several years. The measured and indicated resource back in 2020 was about 130 million ounces silver equivalent. Where we sit today is about 260 million ounces silver equivalent, and that's on a measured and indicated basis. And we've been able to achieve that quite successfully on a very, very low all-in discovery cost basis. And so we have a slide later on that I'll present that shows you that over that time period, for every 11 cents we've spent on exploration in the ground, we've been able to add an ounce of silver in the measured and indicated category. So very, very proud of our exploration team, the great success they've had, really growing our Diablillos project over the last several years. And this year in particular, we've really had some key milestones that we announced earlier this year. One of those was a very robust pre-feasibility study. Again, I'll cover that in quite a bit of detail shortly here. But we announced a pre-feasibility study. This is a project that clearly has very robust economics. Where we sit already today, of course, our focus is on continuing to grow that and further improving those economics. And I think we're making great success there as well. And so that pre-feasibility study was a big milestone for us. That was announced in March. And then the following month in April, we announced a strategic financing. So we raised $20 million, and that was a financing that was completed at very, very favorable terms. So it really helped us minimize dilution. That $20 million financing was through two key strategic investors that you can see on this slide here. One of them being Kinross Gold. They acquired a 4% stake in us for a $10 million equity investment. And the other strategic investor we brought on board is Argentina's largest utility company. So Central Puerto, a blue chip company, they trade on the New York Stock Exchange, over $2 billion market cap, one of the 10 largest companies in Argentina. So again, this is a key strategic investor for us coming in and also investing $10 million on the same terms. And now that financing was completed at a premium to the share price at that time with no warrants. And so very, very favorable, really helped us minimize dilution for our existing investors and provided us with the funding that we needed to continue to drill and advance this project forward. So very, very happy with that. As you can see where we sit today, we have a market cap about just over $300 million Canadian. Net cash position is still about $20 million as of last quarter end. and very, very good volume liquidity. So it's a stock that trades very, very well, I'd say, in terms of liquidity. You can see based on the analyst coverage that we have several analysts covering us. The average, I'd say, analyst target rating is about 100% higher than where we're sitting today almost. And that's really based on the pre-feasibility study. For the most part, their valuations are based on the pre-feasibility study we announced in March. What's important, and I'll cover this shortly in more detail, is we're working on an updated pre-feasibility study that we expect that to be ready in the next 2 months. And we see that as a big, big catalyst for us. We expect the economics could improve quite significantly from the feasibility study that we announced in March. And I'll walk through some of the key changes there that will be incorporated into that new study. Now, another thing that's lots of positive developments for us is based on our location. So we're located in the Salta province of Argentina. Salta has always been a great province in terms of mining, very, very mining friendly. We're surrounded by nothing but mining, really. When you can see where our project there, Diablilos, is located, we're surrounded. There's several large lithium projects being constructed. Some of those now are in operation. Billions of dollars have been spent in the ground, literally within a 30, 40 kilometer radius around us. So we're in an established mining jurisdiction here that's rapidly improving. Infrastructure is great. You literally drive to site from the city of Salta. You fly into a major city center of Salta, multiple flights a day from Buenos Aires, and then it's about a 5.5 hour drive to our site, Diablilos. And lots of mining activity going on all around us. And so Salta has always been great. And where we've seen some big, big developments is on the federal side. Argentina as a whole has recently passed some key legislation that has really improved sort of the outlook, I'd say, for the country as a whole, and improved the outlook for major companies looking to make big, large-scale investments in country as we are. So again, we'll talk about that shortly. This is what the project looks like at site. That's beneath that hill sits our main Oculto deposit. And you can see from a topography perspective, this is quite high elevation. So it's 4,200 meters, but it's a dry desert-like environment. And so that's really ideal as well. Very, very little snowfall there. And so that enables us to drill 12 months a year. Of course, we've just completed the winter season in Argentina. We had no interruptions whatsoever. We're drilling right now with 3 drill rigs active. And also from a permitting perspective, you can see why permitting is quite straightforward in this part of the Puna in Argentina. We're located high up. The nearest community is a 2-hour drive. They're there specifically for mining, and there's no alternative land use here. There's no agriculture anywhere nearby. For hours and hours you drive, and that's sort of the landscape that you see. So it's really ideal for open pit mining. We have lots of water. The infrastructure is excellent. Straightforward permitting process. And as I mentioned, we submitted our EIA a few weeks ago, and we expect to have that in hand by the end of next year. So very, very fast permitting timelines as well. One of the key benefits of being in Salta. Now, this is just a quick recap of the pre-feasibility study that we announced back in March. You can see based on the proven and probable reserves that we have at the moment, this is already a project that would have a 13-year mine life, and that's producing at 9,000 tons per day. So good scale, good size. What's important is the project, despite being quite large, and we'll be producing, especially in the first 5 years, close to 18 million ounces a year on a silver equivalent basis, and at very, very high margins. And so your average all-in sustaining cash cost for the first 5 years is just under $10 an ounce. For the entire mine life, it's under $12.50 an ounce. So because the mineralization is close to surface, in oxides, open pitable, straightforward to mine, easy to process, you have very, very good, robust margins. What's important is these economics were run at very, very conservative commodity prices. $23.50 an ounce silver, 1,850 gold. Of course, where we sit today, both gold and silver are significantly higher than that. And I have a slide shortly that will show you the impact those rising prices have had on our economics. Very, very significant. Really, when you look at here, the net present value on a Canadian basis was just under $700 million at these commodity prices. At today's spot prices, it's north of $1.5 billion Canadian. And so you've seen with the recent uptick in silver and gold prices, a project like this really has very, very significant leverage to rising prices. But what's important is on the downside, because we have such low cash costs, even at $23 silver and sub $2,000 gold, we still have excellent margins, very robust rate of returns. So this is a project that we see, being economic really under any foreseeable silver and gold price environment here. This is what the production profile looks like on our pre-feasibility study. What's key to note is in the first 5 years, you can see very, very high grades. And so that's, we have a new high grade discovery that we made in 2023 that was called the Jack deposit. The overall grades there are over 200 grams per ton of silver. That deposit comes in the mine plan over the first 5 years. As well, in the main Oculto deposit, we have this high grade Tesoro zone that sits near surface. That also comes into the mine plan in the first 5 years. And that really helps the robustness of the economics here. And so you can see very, very high production rates, very high grades, low cash costs in the first 5 years. And that helps with a quick payback, which is sort of ideal, of course, for any mining project. Now, again, looking at the history, this is really showing the great success our exploration team, led by David O'Connor, chief geologist who lives down in Salta in Argentina, and his team have really had growing this deposit on a very consistent basis. So as we've been drilling, we completed initially our phase 1 drill program, phase 2, phase 3. We're now working on the phase 4 program, which is another 20,000 meters of drilling. But you can see the results we've had. And again, on a cost basis, when you look at the costs, each of our exploration programs each year have cost between $5 to $8 million. And with that, we've been able to add 30 to 50 million ounces or even 60 million ounces a year. And so that's really, really helped us stand out, I'd say, among the industry where it's, I think it's a factual statement to say we certainly have one of the best, if not the best, all-in discovery costs in the industry over the past 3-4 years now. And this is a depiction of what the mine will look like after, of course, it's being mined. So you can see the main Oculto deposit, a very large scale, 50 million tons there, very good grades of both silver and gold. And of course, the mineralization there sits near surface. But that extension to the southwest is very, very important. That's a new Jack zone. That was a game-changing discovery we made in 2023. We drilled that out, and that was really the focus of last year's exploration campaign, which was a phase 3. And on the back of that, we defined over 5 million tons with exceptionally high grades, and that's even closer to surface. So, even better economics there. Now, what's important where we're drilling right now, that Jack zone remains a key area of focus. We're still expanding that to the south. So you can see that Alpaca target there. There's Jack North. It's open out towards that western direction. And then it's also open beyond the page to the south. And so we're really drilling there at Jack. I have a slide here that shows you some of the targets. You can see target 2, target 4 at Jack, stepping out, continuing to grow that. And then at Oculto itself, there's still significant exploration upside there, which I think, is not widely publicized. If you look at our latest drill results, we're drilling in the Oculto East direction, and that's still open as well. So it's great that this deposit's really open in both sides. Towards the north, northeast, it's open. Oculto has potential to expand there, and then as well, Jack to the south. And so it's great to have multiple targets in and around the existing deposit. Now, some new information here is that we also have at Diablilos, we have a large land package. We've always had, it's about 9,000 hectares, the entire land package. And you can see the bottom left-hand side of our land package is where we've always been focused on. We've always known we have some outcropping porphyry mineralization about 4 kilometers to the northeast. That's called the Cerro Blanco, Cerro Viejo target. There's been some very shallow historical holes there that have had good results. And we've always assumed, look, there could be a big porphyry potential there. We actually just completed a Titan survey, ran some geophysics, and you could see that big target that was identified as part of the magnetic low anomaly there. Also a big chargeability anomaly. So there's several signs here that we have the potential for a large porphyry discovery. And within the next week or two, at the latest, we're going to start drilling a big deep hole, looking to intersect that big deep porphyry that we have. This is still at our Diablilos project. And so Diablilos, of course, already has a large resource, gold and silver focused. That's obviously priority number one, is advancing that towards a feasibility study and ultimately towards a construction decision. But within the same property, we now have potential for a large gold copper discovery as well. So that's something new. That's something we're going to be drilling here in the very near future, imminently, and within the next few months. We expect to have the initial results from that one deep hole. Will likely be close to 1 kilometer deep. And then, of course, based on that, we'll decide how many other holes are justified in that target. So, yeah, very positive there. The exploration team, again, continues to have great success, and there's lots of potential for new discoveries here. Just quickly looking at our valuation, when you look at the pre-feasibility study, I mentioned the economics were based on very conservative commodity price assumptions, giving you about a 670 million Canadian net present value. We have 125 million shares outstanding, and so when you convert that on a net present value per share, you're looking at a net present value of just over $5 Canadian per share. Today, where we're trading is closer to $2.50. So we're trading at less than half the value. Now that assumes $23.50 silver, less than $2,000 gold. And I'm sure most investors on this call would agree. We think gold and silver prices are going to be significantly higher than that over the foreseeable future. Now, just as an example, if you rerun that same economic model, changing nothing else, not adding any more ounces, not doing anything else, only changing commodity prices, you can see the very significant improvement in terms of the economics there. Your after-tax IRR is now in the mid-40s. Your net present value, you're talking over $1.5 billion Canadian, which translates to over $12 a share on a per share basis. And again, given where we're trading at a small fraction of that value. And so just based on the existing reserves we have, looking at commodity prices, we're trading at a deep discount here. And I think that's similarly for most of our peers in this market. It's obviously been a challenging market over the last several years, but now we're seeing lots of signs with improvements. Gold's consistently hitting all-time highs, silver starting to catch up here. Sentiments coming back into the market. And so we could see significant revaluation, even without, any drastic improvements in terms of the mine plan. But one of the other key factors that has significantly improved since we've announced that pre-feasibility study in March is that in Argentina, President Milei was very successful in passing this new RIGI regime. So this is a big bill that was passed. It's been successfully implemented into law. And basically the summary is for any new large-scale investments over $200 million in the next several years in Argentina, you'd be able to benefit from a lower tax rate. So your tax rate goes down to 25% instead of 35%. For us, that would have over $150 million savings on the net present value from our March study. So very significant savings there. Also, this RIGI regime also removes net export duties starting from year 3 onwards. And those were previously very high. So as part of our pre-feasibility study, you had 8% net export duties on gold, 4.5% for silver. That reduced our net present value by over $180 million US. And so, of course, eliminating that has a very drastic improvement to the net present value here. So hundreds of millions of dollars, we expect the net present value to improve when you factor in that new RIGI regime. And that's one of the key changes that will be included in this updated pre-feasibility study we're working on. So our team is very busy working on this new pre-feasibility study, which will incorporate the tax benefits, no export duties going forward, plus some optimization we've done with the original mine plan. We've found some improvements there that, again, could be quite material. And so our team's working, busy, finalizing that report as quickly as possible. And certainly before year end, we expect to announce that updated pre-feas. And then, of course, we'll have a technical report, which will follow within 45 days from that announcement being made. But that's certainly something I think our investors should be paying very close attention to. It seems like a very key catalyst. It's easy to put two and two together. I mean, this RIGI regime has been publicly announced, widely publicized, but it seems for some reason most investors are not factoring that into our economics at this stage. And so, yeah, I'd certainly encourage investors to have a look at that RIGI package. It's been passed, would benefit us tremendously, and of course is going to help create jobs in country as well. Just looking at the time, I'll move over the next few slides here relatively quickly, so I can leave some time at the end for Q&A. When you look at this slide, it compares our project size to a whole bunch of silver producers, intermediate-sized silver producers. And you can see there's a high scarcity of high-quality primary silver projects out there. This would fit in, I think, this is a project that could fit in very, very well for a number of primary silver producers down the road, just given the size and quality of this project. The economics of our project, importantly, are 100% precious metals focused, about 60% silver, 40% gold. And so when you look at this from a gold equivalent standpoint, there's, of course, a number of peers out there with open pitable oxide gold projects in the Americas. This is the list here. You can see how Diablillo stands out on that basis. We're north of 3 million ounces of gold equivalent. See, there's a handful of companies with a project of that size out there. But what's important amongst those, we are also the highest grades approaching 2 grams per ton, 1.9 grams per ton over the entire mine plan. What's important over the first 5 years, when we're mining from that high grade Jack and Tesoro zones, the grades for the first 5 years are well north of 2.5 grams per ton of gold. So literally off the charts here. So exceptionally high grades. And those are, again, the areas that we're most focused on expanding, continue to discover more of those high grade ounces, of course, has huge positive benefits here for us. Now, just quickly, Diablillo is our main focus. We also do have a secondary project. This is in the San Juan province of Argentina. Of course, a great mining jurisdiction as well. You have a number of high quality copper projects alongside on this belt with Filo del Sol up to the north. That's now being acquired by BHP and Lundin Mining, mega copper porphyry there. And then our closest neighbor is Los Azules to the south. Now, we consolidated a huge land package here, over 70,000 hectares. And then earlier this year in January, we reached an agreement with Teck, of course, Canada's largest base metal company. And we struck a deal where they can earn 80% interest in this project by funding the exploration program over the next 5 years. And so we're waiting now for Teck. They're looking to make a decision. I think they'll likely be continuing to fund this. And so the field season, again, will be opening here within the next few months. And they could start their second exploration campaign at this La Cuepita project. And so this project's in very capable hands. We have Teck advancing this. And then, of course, if they make a big discovery, we would benefit from having a 20% interest in a potential large-scale project here. So with that being said, I'd like to wrap it up. When you look at us, I think look at the track record. I think our team has clearly proven itself over the last several years. We've been able to consistently grow this project, add value for our shareholders on a very cost-efficient basis. Once again, we're looking to do that with the existing drill program, which will be wrapping up in January, February 2025. So we're drilling 20,000 meters right now. Lots of catalysts on the horizon from that program. But importantly, in parallel, we're also advancing the updated pre-feasibility study, which we think is going to be a very big catalyst for us. And then next year, once we've received all the results from the 20,000 meter drill program, again, we'll update the study, and there we'll move to a feasibility study, which we expect to be completed by the end of 2025. At the same time, we'll have construction permits in place with the EIA permits in hand by that stage as well. And so this is a project that's moving towards that construction decision stage in 2026. And I think lots and lots of news flow between now and then. So please, stay tuned. Keep watching the story. I think we're truly in a great position here. The company has a strong balance sheet, lots of upcoming catalysts, and I think with the recent momentum in gold and silver prices, all the positive developments that have gone on in Argentina, I think we're truly very, very well positioned for a major re-rating in the near future. So with that, I think I'll turn it over to questions. We might have only a couple minutes here. First question I can read out. Are you funded for your upcoming drill programs and studies? Yes, great question. We are. We're fully funded. And so the 20,000 meter drill campaign, we've actually already completed 9,000 of that, 20,000 meters. So there's an extra 11,000 meters to be funded. That's fully funded from the cash position we have. As of last quarter, we had $20 million Canadian in the bank, so more than enough to fully fund the 20,000 meter drill program, complete the upcoming pre-feasibility study update, and also next year complete the definitive feasibility study as well. Great. Next question. Could you remind us what are the key events that shareholders can look forward to over the next 12 to 18 months? Yeah, I think I just covered that. So for sure, lots and lots of drill results. And so on average, we aim to put out press releases on the exploration campaign with updates every 3 to 4 weeks. I mean, of course, it depends on the lab. Once we get results from the lab, that drives the timing. So it's a bit out of our control. But on average, I think when you look at our track record, every 3-4 weeks, we come out with exploration results. We expect that's going to be the case for the next 5-6 months here. So there'll be consistent news flow coming from that. The big catalyst, I'd say, later this year is the updated pre-feasibility study. We just submitted our EIA. We've recently published that. And then next year, as we've completed this phase program, we'll be looking at the definitive feasibility study. So that'll be the major catalyst for next year. Let's see. See another question. Does company need financing? What kind equity, royalty, offtake? Again, for this stage, we're fully financed. So we're fully financed to complete the current drill program, complete the feasibility studies, etc. So no need for financing. Of course, down the road, if we're looking to eventually start construction here, that's a totally different story. But for right now, our focus is on exploration. And so we think there's a lot of value to be added. We have a very lean team at site. And so, we're continuing to stay focused on expanding this through the drill bit and then advancing all the study work. And that's the main focus. And then we'll clearly evaluate our options at that stage. As we're getting closer to a construction decision, we'll of course, evaluate that at the board level. So it seems I'm out of time. Once again, I really want to thank everyone very much for attending, for the great questions. If anyone has any further questions, please feel free to reach out. Our general mailbox is info@abrasilver.com. I always personally review those and make sure to respond very, very quickly and efficiently to any investor questions. We get that. So please feel free to reach out. And with that, thanks.